Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. So I'm Kyle York. Thank you for the introduction. So some of you might remember me or have seen me before as a member of the leadership team at Dyn that helped scale Dyn to the acquisition by Oracle just about a year and a half ago. So excited to be here today and introduce you to something that Oracle is proud to announce. And it really stems around the reliability and scale and security of your applications and your networks as you continue to operate in this really growing and complex internet. So what we're going to talk about at first is, has anyone been following recently much of the activity that's going on in Syria as it relates to internet availability? So we started to notice a trend. Don't worry, I don't read Arabic either, but what this is on the right here is it's actually the class schedules for exams that's going on in Syria today. And what you're starting to notice through really interesting data sets, that there's a continued trend that's happening in Syria, and we're seeing this in many nation states where internet access is actually being completely shut down for different purposes. This purpose that we started to notice a trend on was actually nationwide national blackouts of the internet in Syria across multiple ISPs during exam time to ensure no cheating is occurring on the internet. So you start to see a lot of these sort of really different reasons for internet volatility. You tend to see a lot of action happening on the internet where you don't know whose fault it is, and you as network operators are struggling with the performance and experience of your applications, when really it's not your fault. And we're here to tell you it's not your fault, but you really need tools in your hands to give you that mean time to innocence, to make sure you tell your boss and your executives and your board what's going on today's global internet. So we're here today to talk a lot about that. I think it's undeniable that the internet has rifled past commercially what it was expected to be when original ARPANET was created. The scale of the internet today, 3.9 billion users as of this moment are using the internet. Most of that user growth is actually mobile, and it's in many emerging markets throughout the world. So as you start to think about your companies, your applications, how you grow and reach a global audience, ensuring that you have the visibility and management of your applications and the end user's experience with them is critical as this thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The complexity of the internet is also crazy complicated. The internet routing tables, the BGP, has been doubling. The overall internet routing tables have been doubling every decade over the last 2.5 decades. So as you can imagine, who owns the internet, who runs the internet, who controls the fiber, who controls the undersea cables, who controls the internet? Is it state? Is it public? There's a lot of great working bodies like ICANN and others and the Internet Architecture Boards who are trying to figure out how to make sure we have the right standards, policies, RFCs written to continue to deal with the complexity of the internet. I know many of you are bleeding edge web brands and focused on performance and security. The amount of objects that are now being loaded on your pages from third-party widgets and microservices is creating even further complexity that's hard for you and hard for your end users to experience with. And then lastly, the volatility, and we're going to talk about volatility in a bunch of different ways in a minute, but really as Dyn and now as Oracle, we've been monitoring the state of the internet for the past 15 years. We're shooting out trace routes, we're monitoring DNS, we're looking at the BGP routing tables, we're looking at recursive DNS, and we're looking at multivariate lenses of the data sets with our data science team, incorporating a bunch of machine learning to get smarter about how we do this, to deliver back to you value so that you can better optimize and manage your applications on the internet. We've been doing this, as I said, for 15 years, so we've basically been able to benchmark the state of the internet over that time period and look for anomalies or patterns. And again, we're continuing to expose that in tools and capability. What you see on the right side here is a bunch of this. Many of you might have followed the Renesys research blog. A lot of this came from an acquisition Dyn did at Renesys in 2014. That turned into the Dyn research blog that's now part of our Oracle Internet Intelligence program. And we're breaking things that are happening on the internet every day. Syria is not alone in blocking internet for cheating. Iraq's been famous to do this, Egypt as well. And you're seeing lots of different, kind of real-time rapid response activity and context provided to you through blog form. And we're really pushing that into more resources for you as we progress. I think one thing, I love the past talk, you see the stick figure which represents the end user, and then you see the little cloud that represents the network. I think it's critical for all of us to acknowledge that the internet is now becoming a part of our corporate network. At Oracle, we obviously are feeling this big time as more and more databases and more of our legacy data center on-premise workloads move to cloud. The reality is the internet is your network. I saw a stat put out last week. Something like 80% of you acknowledge that you skip around your VPN throughout your days. Maybe not you, but definitely salespeople and business people are fretting around their VPNs consistently and using the public internet to access business systems, applications, networks every single day. The volatility here that you're seeing, and this is, I think, critical to see I'll speak to the one on the left. This is actually Hurricane Maria in real time. You actually noticed a spike in traffic happening in the Caribbean. This is in the country of Puerto Rico across their multi-ISP links. This is basically people reaching out, looking for weather, talking to loved ones, and then the internet shutting down. And to this day, full internet availability and performance is still not back up and running in Puerto Rico. So thinking about this when it comes to transit providers, to regional outages, to networks, to thinking through how this affects your application in real time, we believe is critical for you. The one on the far right is, sometimes the internet is used as a tool for DDoS for hires or, BGP hijacks or transit links. And what's happening a lot is you're actually seeing people get mad. Right? So the UK Lotto, a guy lost a bunch of money. What's he do? He DDoSes the website and takes it down for a day. This is the new world. This is where we live, and we all need to be prepared. So today, I'm here to introduce the Internet Intelligence Map. This is our way of sort of putting a bunch of tooling and resources in the hands of the Internet, all Internet constituents, to glean some of the same visibility and access that we've been operating for the past 15 years to build better networks, better SaaS apps, better cloud solutions, and passing that along to our customers. But really wanted to provide a free, simple graphical treatment that I'd like to play a video now and introduce you to.
Today, over 3.9 billion people access the internet. We rely on it to unite us, to empower our businesses, help us manage money and foster global relationships. It's a system of ever-growing scale and complexity, but the very things that make the internet so amazing also make it increasingly vulnerable to volatility. Securing your cloud and data in this landscape requires a partner with more data and more visibility. Introducing Oracle's Internet Intelligence. Built on years of research and analytics by Dyn, and backed by one of the world's most comprehensive internet performance datasets, Oracle has developed the premier resource and authority for reliable information on the internet, and has been using those resources to tell the internet story for more than a decade. Some of this comprehensive data is being democratized and shared with you in the form of a newly launched Internet Intelligence Map, a resource designed to offer enhanced, updated insight into the current state of the internet. The Internet Intelligence Map allows you to view global data on trace routes, BGP, and DNS on a single dashboard. Presenting 3 dimensions of internet connectivity side by side gives a unique vantage point for monitoring internet traffic and the state of the global internet. When issues with the internet arise, the map gives you the ability to investigate the impact of internet connectivity problems around the world. The Internet Intelligence Map is just one of many advanced awareness tools that help Oracle improve your experience on the cloud by making it better and more reliable every day. Internet Intelligence powered by Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, working to make the internet a safer, more stable experience for all who rely on it.
So one thing I've realized in helping build Dyn from a scrappy startup out of New Hampshire into the world's leader in DNS and this data visibility is that the infrastructure landscape is incredibly volatile and complex. And when we got acquired by Oracle, for me, it was validation of the value we provided in the infrastructure as a service landscape. But more so was a double down, understanding that infrastructure requires tremendous resource and investment and scale. So we're proud to sort of bring that scrappy hustle of a startup and that customer obsession around internet performance and internet security of Dyn and launch that today as part of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. This is a graphical representation representation you'll see here of the same story I told you earlier about Syria blocking internet access. And you literally, all I know, many of you are probably modern-day gamers, but all I know is you don't want to be playing the game on Atari Pitfall as you're running your networks. And if you look at Syria, this is a graphical representation of the internet going down consistently for 3 hours every day for the last 2 weeks. Follow along at internetintel.oracle.com. Please talk to us at our booth. We're really excited to be here. David Belson, who's running this program, came from Akamai, wrote the State of the Internet report. He's here. Please search out our team, and thank you very much for having us.